Demolition projects can be extremely complex to manage at the best of times, but the presence of asbestos can complicate things even further. That's why it pays to have award-winning contractors Connell Brothers Limited on board as your demolition partner. We're long-standing members of the Asbestos Removal Contractors Association and hold a full 3-year asbestos removal licence issued by the Health and Safety Executive. We have the in-house technical expertise and our own fleet of asbestos plant and equipment to offer full control over the asbestos removal works. Asbestos is commonly found in many buildings built before the year 2000. When disturbed, asbestos can release fibres that can cause lung disease and other chronic health problems.
Asbestos is a Class 1 carcinogenic that was extensively used in construction of buildings for decades prior to it being known how dangerous it was. The problem with asbestos exposure is it's not like touching a hot surface where you immediately get a burn and you know to take your hand away. The symptoms of asbestos exposure aren't noticed till years later when it's too late.
The removal of asbestos has to be made in full accordance with the control of asbestos regulations. It's a legal requirement that a demolition asbestos survey is first carried out by specialist surveyors.
It's more than likely that it won't identify all asbestos-containing materials within the building, as the chances are there will be materials hidden within the fabric of the building that will only become apparent during structural demolition works.
Because some asbestos material might not be discovered until the demolition work has commenced, there's a benefit in having a single contractor to manage both processes.
During the project, if additional asbestos materials are discovered as part of the demolition works, Connell Brothers have the in-house expertise and the resources to be able to carry out this work for the client. The client does not have to rely on a third party.
Before demolition works commence, an airtight enclosure is constructed around the asbestos-containing materials, using timber and 1000 gauge polythene. The enclosure is placed under negative pressure, so there is a constant stream of clean air flowing through the work area. And the enclosure is smoke tested to ensure there is sufficient air movement prior to the asbestos removal works commencing. A self-contained decontamination unit is installed on site. On arrival, our asbestos removal operatives change out of their clothes and into their powered respirators and PPE, including 2 sets of coveralls. They then follow a dedicated and marked transit route to the work area. Access in and out of the enclosure is controlled via a 3-stage airlock, where the outer layer of coveralls is removed. The asbestos removal can then take place.
Where possible, we try and move asbestos as whole items. Like, for example, if we've got ceiling tiles, we'll unscrew the fixings holding them in place and remove them as a whole tile, place them in the asbestos bag and then seal them. We try and keep breakages to a minimum. Breakages causes fibres to become airborne, which increases the exposure for the operatives.
The waste bags are passed into a separate bag lock, where they're sealed inside a clear asbestos bag before being removed and taken directly to the asbestos skip. On leaving the work area, the operatives change their coveralls in case any fibres have been picked up during the works. They then follow the marked route to the decontamination unit, where they remove their final set of coveralls and shower. This robust process ensures that no asbestos fibres leave the working area.
Upon completion of asbestos removal works, the operatives fine clean the enclosure to make sure that all dust and debris have been removed. Our asbestos supervisor will then carry out his inspection to ensure that the works have been carried out to the correct standard. Once he's satisfied, then we invite the third-party UCAS accredited asbestos analyst in.
This independent UCAS accredited analyst conducts a 4-stage clearance before a certificate of reoccupation is issued to confirm that the asbestos removal works have been completed to the required standard. Asbestos removal is a highly specialist process, one that is tightly integrated with the wider demolition project. In Connell Brothers Limited, you'll have a single provider that has all the necessary equipment and resources, and the ability to seamlessly manage the asbestos removal as part of your demolition project.